Well, over the past decade, food prices have increased 3.2% per year as consumers grapple with historic costs for Thanksgiving staples. Our next guest is there to help shoppers get the most bang for their buck. And joining us now is Robin Wenzel, Wells Fargo Agri-Food Institute Group Head. Robin, it is good to see you. So plenty of viewers, listen, Robin, they're getting together for Thanksgiving. How much is this meal going to cost this year, Robin, versus last year? Are we going to see some relief?
A little bit, Josh, but I should probably break it down for you a little bit. This year, we took a look at name brands versus store brands to try to guide consumers around where they can find the best opportunity to shop. And as you said, we continue to see prices going up. But what was interesting to us this year was that the name brand category, this is for a menu to feed 10 people with a turkey and various sides, we actually saw that come down about 0.5% year over year. You're still going to save with that store brand. As you can see, you'll save about $17 over going with the name brand menu. But we do see the pricing gap start to narrow between the two categories.
Why is it coming down at all, Robin? What explains that?
A lot of the name brand companies, when coming out of COVID, when they were having to deal with the higher prices, so labor struggles, supply chain struggles, they may have overshot a little bit with the pricing, and they're starting to scale back to meet the consumers where they are. So we're seeing many of those categories start to come down year over year.
And Robin, so if you're watching this right now and you're shopping around, what's any smart tactics, strategies viewers should deploy here, Robin, as they get ready to make this meal?
Absolutely. And I think part of it goes back down to that pricing gap narrowing between the name and store brands. So I think consumers have some flexibility this year. Retailers are really working hard to get people into the stores. The name brands and the store brands are buying for those consumers. So if we look at the turkey, let's start with the star of the show, the turkey. So 75% of turkeys are name brand turkeys that are sold every single year. As we approach Thanksgiving, we're going to see pricing come down in both categories. But right now, we actually see that the difference is very small. So although the store brand may cost less, it's really just a couple of dollars difference at the end of the day. Where we see things shift a little bit, where we want to really recommend the store brands, is maybe when you get into the bakery. So people like convenience, they like to buy their dinner rolls already prepared. We are seeing the store brand category be a better option for consumers. But I'll say on the other end of the bakery aisle, when we look at the pies, and specifically pumpkin pies, which are very seasonal. About 10% of all pumpkin pies are sold in the weeks leading up to Thanksgiving. We really see it's almost an even split between name and store brands. So go with whatever your preference may be.
How do prices this year, Robin, compare? We talked about it versus last year. I'm curious, would they compare, pre-COVID, 2019?
That's a great question. We have seen pricing go up year over year. We really saw it go up quite a bit during COVID, but they are starting to come back down. So I don't have the data going back all of those years. I would say that consumers, though, are still feeling the pinch and the sting of high prices.
Generally, Robin, let's get just beyond Thanksgiving meal. As you look ahead at 2025, what does food inflation look like?
I wish I had the crystal ball. What I will say is that as we look at this year's harvest, right, because we're talking about agriculture at the end of the day, we had record crops for soybean, wheat, and corn. These are all part of the input costs, especially with the proteins. They go into the feed. So we should see some stabilization potentially with feed costs going down. That's going to help out a lot of these producers. It was a good year for a lot of vegetables and fresh produce. We get most of our produce from California, Arizona, Mexico. They had good growing conditions, good access to water. So we'll see, again, some prices look good. If we're talking about pumpkins, canned pumpkins for next year, it was a great pumpkin crop this year. So we'll see that going into next year's canned goods.
What about the star of the show, Robin? Any idea of where turkey prices are headed?
I think as people shop around and as we approach the holiday date, we're going to see prices continuing to come down. Turkey really ends up in one of two places, either in the deli for your sandwiches and sliced meats or on your Thanksgiving table. So this is the time of year where they're really pushing the turkey. And it comes at a time, too, where people are looking for other options other than turkey. So you're going to see some good values, not only with the turkey, but if ham is what you want on your Thanksgiving table, or chicken, you're going to see some good value out there.
Final question, Robin. My producers are very interested. Egg prices, eggflation. Any thoughts there, Robin? Where could they be headed over the next 12 months?
Yeah, it's something that is highly impacted by bird flu, as we've seen. So when we see bird flu and the laying hens all have to be culled, we see the supply and demand, and we see those prices go up. So I think it's difficult to assess 12 months out. I would say right now, get ready to experience some higher egg prices.
Robin, great to see you and enjoy the holidays.
You do as well. Thanks for having me.